some reminders for everyone. Number one, to ask questions or share your comment, you may either raise your hand to verbalize it or post your question or comment on the chat box and we will read them for you. Please unmute your microphone as soon as your name is called. Give your name, organization, school, or location, then state your question and to whom it is directed. Please make your questions concise. If it is a feedback, please make it concise as well. We will take as many questions as time permits on a first come, first serve basis. So let's begin our open forum for the topic responsible mining. Possible?
Anyone with an raised hands? Well, maybe if there's none yet, I have a question. Can I ask my question?
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
All right. It was mentioned that we have 21 abandoned sites, mining sites. And Miss Juvie mentioned about the reference ecosystems. Has this been has the 21 abandoned sites been seen as maybe where we can start this reference ecosystem? O yung mga rehabilitation? O what is the status of itong mga 21 abandoned sites?
Yes, of course, we don't know the status of those abandoned mining areas. And I think they are not yet included in those reference ecosystems for establishment.
Baka doon dapat umpisahan, no? Kasi abandoned na.
May follow-up question lang ako siguro doon. No? Although I'm a moderator, so I would like to ask na kasi since I read the DAO and the presentation of Madam Juvie, no. I think I have seen it this kind of presentation several times, but gagaya nga naman sabi ni Ma'am Tessa, how did the assessment, the prior experiences about mining, like the Buwak incident and other mining sites played into the new protocol or the new strategy of the DNR? How did it play? Because I think I have not seen it as a backgrounder, as an intro to the new strategy. Paano po ba yung naging basis para malaman natin kung ito bang tinatak nating strategy ay realistic, possible? Paano po nag-play yun? Nag-play po ba yung mga previous experiences into this new strategy? Yun lang po.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. So yun po yung mga considerations natin dito and the drafting of the DAO, yung based on our previous experiences na nangyari. So through this DAO, we would like to envision, we envision a responsible mining.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from our audience?
Okay, we have Attorney
Gertie?
Yes. Pasensya na Mama Juvie. Good afternoon po uli. Ang tanong ko po is, kasi if you look at the DAO, siya, para siyang, with due respect, no, para siyang nasa reactive side. What does, how does BMB see the fact that there are many tree cutting permit applications, particularly in Palawan? Can't the BMB intervene? Kasi ang nagsulat na po kami kay Secretary last year pa on asking on whether old growth and natural forests and critical wildlife habitats have already been surveyed. Ang gusto sana namin precautionary approach. Diba? Bago payagan, sukatin at saka i-assess. Ano ang pananaw ng BMB doon? Pangalawa, is BMB fully aware of the processes that mining companies go through or dominated by ito ng MG? Thank you.
Yes po, attorney. So that is the main reason. That's why even before before the exploration stage, we required the conduct of assessment of the area. So para malaman natin ano yung mga maaapektuhan na mga uh, yes, ano yung mga maaapektuhan dun sa activity na gagawin dun sa area. So that was stated in the DAO.
Pero ang Ma'am Juvie, ang follow-up ko lang is the laws that we have said that dapat you have to protect that mining is prohibited in protected areas in old growth forest and in Palawan. So we would like to know how BMB actually is dealing with that. Kasi we come from we want the laws implemented. Kasi pag pag hindi siya safeguarded beforehand, remedial na ang measure eh, 'di ba? I mean, can you really restore 52,000 trees in 30 years? 'Di ba? That's you have to assess the biodiversity law. So ang tanong namin is yung position ng BMB in relation to protecting biodiversity and protected areas. Thank you po.
So yes po, it's stated in the NIPAS Act and even in the INAIPAS Act that under Section 22 that existing rights will be recognized within protected areas. And however, dahil meron siyang existing contracts and agreements, i-respect po natin yan. But after the end of the term of the agreements, then the area need to be rehabilitated or restored. So, and also during the operation nila, dapat magiging consistent din sila dun sa objective ng area, which is protection, protected as a protected area.
Siguro i-connect natin yung question on the chat, no, from Amy Perez. Sabi dito, how possible is it for mining companies to restore or rehabilitate biodiversity or protect biodiversity when there is a lot of disturbance from beginning till end of the mining activity? I think this is a very good question. Siguro baka mayroon na po bang success story related to this na document na na-rehabilitate talaga?
We have mining companies na that they are undergoing restoration activities. So, example, we have based on the monitoring of the said mining companies like the Berong Nickel Corporation in Palawan. So they are already conducting progressive rehabilitation in their area and even assessment of the biodiversity using native. They are also using native species, and of course, they established their reference ecosystems. So some of the mining companies are already implementing this administrative order.
Thank you, Ma'am Juvie. From our participants, I think I see the raise hand of Sir Bernie from ATM, and then after Sir Bernie, we go to Sir Randy Oliva. Sir Bernie, go ahead.
Yes po, good afternoon. I forgot to mention po kanina, yung isa po palang response ni Secretary Yulo doon sa call na ibawasan yung restrictions ay yung tinatawag na digitalization of the permitting process. Pero I was also reminded by Attorney Jerty na bakit hindi yung digitalization ay isama doon sa pag-safeguard din ng ating mga resources. So, I'll give an example po. Nung tinatrace po namin yung mga offshore mining applications, hindi sa isa ko po lahat yung regions. Kasi po naka-table siya sa MGB website. Pero per region, malilito ka kasi iba-iba po ang ang hirap i-trace ng offshore kasi iba-iba po yung terms sa ginagamit, iba-ibang categories po yung ginagamit. Although magkakamukha naman, pero nakakalito pa rin po. Pangalawa, makikita nyo lang po doon sa applications, yung size nung ina-applyan sa dagat, kung gaano kalaki, like 37,000 hectares, 8,000 hectares. Pero ang tanong, saan part ng dagat yung huhukahin at miminahin? Meron po tayo kasing batas on fisheries code na dapat within the 15 kilometers ay dapat municipal watershed at ang may priority use niyan ay mamamayang isda, fisher folk. So, what will happen kung maglalagay ka ng mining within the municipal waters? So, yun lang po. Sana this is a call not necessarily po siguro for BMB pero baka sa MGB din na isama sa digitalization yung accurate mapping ng mga sites na ina-applyan ng mga mining companies. Yan lang po. Salamat.
Thank you, Sir Bernie from ATM.
Andy.
Sir Andy, go ahead.
You're muted.
Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. I just want to express my frustration and my feelings about this whole thing because I always looked at the DENR as our partner, our co-defender of the environment, and for the DENR to be focused on the giving out of authorities to cut forests, old growth forests at that, and telling people, okay, you can ball so many trees, but we all know that balling trees don't really work. They all end up dead in the end. So it's very frustrating because we as civil society, we would encourage school children to plant trees. One child, one tree. Kumbaga, parang tayong retailer, no? Tingi-tingi. While the DNR goes wholesale, no? 54,000 trees. It's maybe no. I just want to state that it's more than frustrating. It's infuriating already. Diba? That's all I can say.
Mahirap talaga itong issue to, no?
Thank you, Sir Randy. I think discuss. Siguro bago yung DNR ay ma-flow ng ma-focus sa kanila masyado yung discussion. Siguro tanong ko rin bago ako pumunta doon sa mga naka-raise ng hand. To the ATM, no, yung mga nagsasabing walang responsible mining. How do you respond to the queries like what Ma'am Tessa said na if we do not do this mining, how come that sa natin kukunin yung mga gagamitin sa energy transition and everything? Ano ba yung alternative na pinopropose nyo? Kasi you're opposing responsible mining, you're opposing mining in terms, ano ba yung propose nyo? Baka naman oppose kayo na oppose. Being the devil's advocate, I'm just like trying to ask this question.
Yes po, sir. Ang Alyansa Tigil Mina po ay contrary po dun sa pangalan niya. Hindi naman po kami absolutely ay tutol sa mining. Kaya nga po kami ay nagpo-push. Isa sa major goal namin ay yung Alternative Minerals Management Bill. Kanina po sana i-discuss ko yun, pero in the interest of time, hindi ko na muna din-discuss. Pero ang essential na sinasabi po ng Alternative Minerals Management Bill ay kung magmimina tayo, ang tanong, sino ang makikinabang? Ngayon po kasi, puro po tayo export. Hindi naman po yan makakatulong sa pag-unlad ng bansa natin. Nag-advocate po kami ng mining sa isang framework ng nationalist industrialization. Kumbaga, kung ano lang yung kailangan natin na minahin, yung lang yung na kailangan para umunlad yung bansa natin. Yun po yung dapat gawin. Hindi po kami naniniwala na at hindi tayo dapat magpapresyo doon sa pangangailangan for critical minerals. Bakit po? Kasi sino po ang makikinabang doon? Yun ding mayayamang bansa na dati na rin sumira sa kalikasan natin. At pangalawa, sino rin po ba ngayon ang nasa mga renewable energy kung sino po yung monopoly doon sa industry ng power industry, sila rin po ngayon yung nasa renewable energy. So ang tanong, makikinabang po ba yung ating mga communities pag hinayaan na natin na magminay ang mga yan? So, hindi po kami papayag talaga na ituloy ang mining sa isang context ng isang neoliberal kung saan ang bansa natin ay nagsusupply lang ng raw materials na hindi naman tayo nakikinabang at nasisira ang ating kalikasan. Ilang po, salamat.
Thank you, Sir Bernie. Yan. Baka may gusto idagdag si Attorney Jerty.
Yes, thank you. Susugan ko lang na dahil nga for almost 20 years now, tama ba Bernie, we have been pushing for an alternative minerals management bill. That's also a recognition that we also look forward to the day that we can mine and we can directly benefit. Kaya nga nagsusulong ka ng ganon. Ngayon, but our laws also provide for prohibited areas na hindi naman nasusunod. And we have science that should guide us to weigh yung cost-benefit. Kasi we should not also forget the value of fisheries and agriculture. Diba? Pag sinukat mo yon, okay, kailangan natin ng ganito, cellphone, okay, the minerals. Pero kailangan din natin kumain. Kailangan natin ng tubig, di ba? At may halaga yon. So, importante, maganda yung tanong mo, David, kailangan talaga ng timbangan. At napaka-vulnerable ng Pilipinas sa usapin ng pagbabago ng klima. So, tingin ko the aspect of environmental justice or even climate justice would come in. Is it really justifiable to deluge this beautiful biodiversity-rich country with a lot of mining activities or mining applications, considering that we need our forests, our water, our agriculture and fisheries to be able to survive. So to me, it's really a very difficult task of balancing. But kasama dyan yung ating framework on mining. Kasi very nga export-oriented. So until we are able to change the fiscal regime and the framework of mining this country, it will be so difficult to achieve responsible mining. Even kung sangkatutak pa yung DAO ng DNR, mahirap talaga. But I'm not losing hope that the future generations hopefully can craft, okay, and push for a better policy. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Jerty. I think we could go to Dr. G and then Gwen of Green Research, then Miles. Dr. G, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, maganda nga yung sinabi ni Gerthy. Maybe future generations will benefit from all this. Kasi yung minerals, alternative minerals bill, ang tagal na niyan. I don't know why they don't pass it.
2 decades.
It is, huh?
2 decades.
It is a bill which will maybe bring about a win-win situation. That we will benefit from our minerals, which we are very rich in, but safeguard those that are threatened, like biodiversity, communities, indigenous peoples and their way of life, etc. Ewan ko bakit hindi pa mapasa-pasa yun. Hindi naman natin sinasabi na absolutely walang mining, sabi nga ng ATM, but we have to guard our precious assets also, which are threatened by mining. So parang, and then yung cost-benefit analysis is another very important feature, aspect that we have to look at, no? Ano bang mahihita natin sa isang, for example, one mine in a certain place, and what do we lose? So we have to make that choice, and it has to be science-based. You know, we can really develop well with our God-given assets, biological and physical. But we have to take the bull by the horns and see ito ang kailangan gawin, ito ang kailangan gawin. That is the state of our country and our laws and our politics and our governance. So siguro kailangan talaga nating mag-push pa for that alternative bills para before I die, I won't leave the problem to my grandchildren. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. G. Very heartwarming yung ano na yan, no? Sana nga naman in our lifetime, ensure natin na may iiwan man lang tayo, no, Ma'am Tessa, sa future generation.
Yeah,
Let's go. Yeah, go ahead.
You're muted, Gwen.
Gwen, go ahead.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Hindi sana ako magtatanong kaya lang nilagay ko na sa question, hindi nyo binabasa. Ayan tuloy. Sige. Pwede yan. O sige. Yung una muna siguro, thank you. Good to see Attorney Jerty online again. I just saw her online in Palawan. Mamaya, I don't know if she can share a little about what happened there. It's related to mining. And then, hi kay, Bernie, ngayon ko lang ata siya nakita regards to our partner JB. And si ma'am, ano pangalan ni ma'am? Sorry, sa BMB, parang hindi ko siya masyado nakilala. Ewan ko kung bago siya. Narinig ko, nag-aaral siya sa Lasal. Anyway, ito yung unang comment ko. Siguro it's more of the, medyo nagulat ako ha. Disclosure, parang hindi ko napansin tong DAO na to. Actually, hindi ko masyado natututukan yung biodiversity, including the international. So, ang gut feel ko lang, although hindi ko pa nabasa, ang gut feel ko lang, the new DAO, actually di pala siya new DAO, 22 ng March siya napirmahan. Take note of the date. It was just before the elections. Kung tutuusin, di na dapat ginawa yung ganung, diba, yung mga last minute na mahahalagang policy. Hindi dapat, kung tutuusin. So I think it needs to be deconstructed. Nilagay ko dyan yung copy. And then, yung susunod, natanong ko una, ma'am, sa inyo, this was made in March 2022. Nagkaroon ng international, nasa na yung sinabi ko, yung International Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework na binanggit mo, it was in December 2022. So nagkaroon na ba ng revisiting nung DAO na yan given this one? At hindi ko alam, nandiyan ang Haribon, may stand ba kayo sa DAO na to? Or the other NGOs who are here? Pangalawa, ano yung sabi ko? Sa consultation ito lang nasilip ko. Hindi ko alam kung totoo to. Pero nakalagay doon, maraming kinonsulta. Ito, pinost ko na ba? Maraming kinonsulta, 2 araw pa ata. Nandyan ba tayo, ang NGOs? Mukhang karamihan mining at Chamber of Mines. So kung nagkaroon ba ng draft niyan, bago napasa, nagkaroon ba tayo ng chance to comment on it? Or did we... Kung napasa na, nag-ingay ba tayong NGOs, kanyan. So, ang gusto ko lang sabihin, ang dating sa akin, i-correct nyo kung tama itong narinig ko sa BMB, ha? Ipopost ko sa chat. Ayan. Tama ba itong narinig ko? Sinabi niya, mining is a direct cause of biodiversity. Second, sinabi niya, mining can contribute to biodiversity. So, pinakita niya yung mga slides kung paano. Tapos susunod, yung parting shot niya, nakakalungkot, ma'am. Ako, I'm very disturbed. Para hindi ko to narinig nung kami, Dr. Nina, nasa PDP kami ng 2 regimes. Alam ko kakampi namin yung BMB, pero ngayon, hindi ko alam ano nangyari sa inyo. Sinabi niyo, biodiversity is good business for mining. So, hindi ko alam kung paano. I think, in fairness, I think hindi to nag-start sa regime ni DNR Loizaga. Napasa to nung 22, but we have to call her attention na hindi dapat payagan nito kasi BMB, ang mandate ninyo is protect. Ang primary mandate nyo, protection, conservation of biodiversity. Hindi mining. Yung mining sa MGB yon. Ang nangyari ngayon, ako, kung gagamitin ko bluntly, I think you're I don't know if the term is co-opted or you're kind of forced into a situation to use biodiversity to support that responsible mining narrative. And that discourse has to be reconstructed. Ayun lang ang masasabi ko. Deconstructed in the making of the next PDP. Call the attention of DNR Loizaga ngayon. Kalampagin ng mga CSOs. Nag-statement, actually atin lang to. Ang napansin ko nga when I gave the talk about the nature-based solution with green convergence in Camayan in January, my realization and my own confession, hindi ko masyad namin tinututukan yung biodiversity. Itong mga huling taon, nakatutok tayo sa climate change. So I think yan yung isang call ko siguro for green convergence, Haribon, etc. I think we need to, now, lagot ang BMB. We need to laser focus tayo sa BMB ngayon at the national and this DAO and the other, I don't know, policies that they and the actually problematic ng ang dati, yung forest, yun? Ano nga yung forest? FRB. Ano yan yung bureau na yon? FMB. Ngayon, pati BMB, I'm really sad and disturbed. Yun lang yung masasabi ko. So,
Yeah,
I don't know. At yung susunod na tanong ko, sige, yun na yung tanong ko, more on the DAO, the process and the text and the BMB's mandate. Second, yung tanong ko kay Attorney Jerty, parang nabanggit mo kanina na may the Brooks Point Provincial approve reclassification, tama ba?
The recent Sangguniang Bayan. Kasi bago
Ang
na
tanong
after the
ko,
elections.
di ba meron mga decisions na ginawa ng consensus tayo doon sa provincial, yung mga declaration, etc. Can it be used to reverse this or pressure yun? Pangatlo, ano pa yung tanong ko? O, yun
We
na
will
muna.
do something. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, we have done something and we will do something to actually stall that. Kasi the endorsement of the changing of the zones is not consistent with the SEP law and other laws that protect our forest. 27,900 plus trees na nga, may 8,000 application pa, may isa pang 6,000, sana pupulutin ng Brooks Point yan after 10 years. So, yan,
Attorney
Glenn,
Jerty, baka you can summarize what happened yung Congress on Mining and Environment para may konting namang good news.
Well, it's not solid good news, but it's a good start. Just for everyone, to the credit of Honorable Governor Dennis Socrates, the provincial governor of Palawan, he initiated a Congress on Mining and the Environment, and he invited a lot of sector representatives from the church, from the indigenous peoples, from civil society, from farmers, from the mining sector, from experts, and also scientists. But from the government, the MGB, the DNR, and also from NEDA and the DILG. Now, after a discussion of 3 days, there was a series of proposals, and when the people voted, this is not an ordinance yet, but there was a sentiment that we have to have a moratorium on the processing of new mineral applications in Palawan. Of course, while that is a good beginning, it is not enough for the advocates because there are existing mines in the forest that need to really be stopped. But it's a good start for the future to protect our remaining forest. And then there's also part of the declaration is to push for the accessibility of the environmental impact statements, to revisit the multi-partite monitoring teams, to do a socioeconomic and also cost-benefit analysis. So these are among the calls. I think what needs to be done now is to make sure that those calls are translated into concrete actions and concrete local and national policies. So the Palawan Stakeholders Congress on Mining and Environment, the results actually are on Facebook and they're recorded. And I hope it can generate a lot of interest on how do we deal with this never-ending challenge of extractive activities affecting the last ecological frontier. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Jerty. I think our representative from the BMB wants to address the issue. Ma'am Juby, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So I would like to address first yung question to BMB regarding the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, which was adopted last December 2022, and the DAO was approved last March 2022. However, prior to the approval of the DAO, it undergoes a series of consultations and meetings. I think we have a lot of experts and representatives from different sectors who attended said consultations. And right now, we are updating the Philippine Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan to align our targets to the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Frameworks, which included the mainstreaming of the biodiversity. And with regards, by the way, this DAO was a directive since 2016 by former Secretary Gina Lopez. And another is the question on, ano ba yung another question? Regarding the objectives of the DAO, It is very clear in the presentation and of course in the DAO that the objective is to provide adequate measures for responsible mining towards ensuring biodiversity conservation and protection. So that's the main objective of this DAO. That is biodiversity, the mainstreaming of biodiversity in mining operations. So that's why the title is Enhancing Biodiversity Conservation and Protection in Mining Operations.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you. Miles, si Miles ba? Okay
Mina?
na?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, go
Pero
ahead.
actually, it has something to do with the EIA. Juby, you said a while back that you will be monitoring strictly the ECC. But I think you have to really review also the EIA process. First and foremost, the EIA is done by the proponent, right? By the company itself. And most of the time, they come up with, sometimes it's not truthful. I mean, we have studied some EIAs in our courses, and you will see that the statements eventually that they come up with, that the project is good and would benefit the people because you have to undergo several consultations, etc., addressing all the concerns of the people, of the public, etc. But it usually redounds to the fact that eventually it's not. And all the ECCs were never monitored. Ito ang mga nahuli, di ba? Yung nasa news, yung mga issues. And I think what's really important is for you to review the EIA process. First and foremost, also the technical review committee. Once the statement or the document has been submitted, the technical review panel who should review the document submitted by the proponent must be very, very honest and who will really scrutinize. The problem is it's so voluminous na kadalasan ang dami-daming binibigay and redundant. It doesn't really go into the main aspects of the issue that the project would be affecting. Parang hindi siya focus kaya masyadong marami, voluminous, paulit-ulit, redundant. And I think yung sinasabing cost-benefit analysis, that's really very important for the technical review panel. Because you look at it with or without project. And yung Alyansa Tigil Mina, pinakita na nga it's not really viable. At saka mas negative pa nga, it's not profitable, mababa ang GDP natin, sira pa yung resources natin, and even the people who are affected are saying that they are not really given the necessary compensation, just like in Tampakan. And the issue of, yun na nga, yung sinasabi natin that the LGU must be involved, but in the case of Tampakan, I think, na-supersede ng national interest yung gusto ng LGU. So the EIA itself must be reviewed. It has to be overhauled. Even the technical review panel, I think you have to choose right. And essentially, yung sinabi na monitoring ng ECC, it shouldn't be yun lang You really have to go to the roots of the problem. Again, yung sinabi ni Dr. Galang, bakit yung minerals bill hindi umaandar? Definitely, sabi na nga ng ATM, there's a lot of legislators who have interest in the mining industry. Baka it really needs an overhaul of the system itself. Yung ating society, even yung electorate natin, how we choose our leaders. Yan ang siguro. And also, of course, I will really agree with Gwen na sisirain mo yan, laki-laking land use na lamang sisirain mo, laki-laki hectares, no, by the hectares yung sisirain mo. How can that be addressing, no, parang the biodiversity issue of our country, which is mega diverse nga, but we are considered as a hotspot in terms of degradation of our biodiversity. Yun lang siguro. Parang nakukulangan ako Parang wala siyang ipin. We really have to have a ban at the moment and really review the system. Especially the EIA, which is supposed to be giving teeth to the environmental movement. Okay, thank you.
Any response from our resource persons?
Can I speak, Ma'am Tessa?
Go ahead po.
Yeah, I like the insights of Ma'am Miles. No? Actually po, there is a pending bill on EIS. Actually, the alternative law groups, as early as 2010, ito na naman, na halata yung katandaan namin. We've been pushing also for a new EIA bill because currently, it has been watered down, some of the provisions. So, ay magagandang mga manuals ng DNR on social acceptability, but most often than not, it's really on the implementation and the capacity of even local officials from the barangay to identify their roles. Yung provision ng PD 1151 that dapat merong tawag dito? Alternative site. Hindi yun nasusunod sa EIA. In other words, if this is a biodiversity-rich area and you'll not be allowed to reclaim, to dredge, or to mine the area, dapat may alternative site. That is not a provision being implemented. And at the moment, as I said, we could not even access environmental impact statements. So how can we critique? Example, we were shocked that pero palang ganito kadami-daming libong punong kahoy, hindi siya maliwanag kung saan siya sa EIS dahil wala kaming kopya. So, problema talaga sa pag-access to information, which is very important for communities and civil society to be able to look into pathways, approaches on how to engage. Ang EIA pa naman, according to a lot of our officials, is an expression of the precautionary principle sa Agenda 21. But as to whether it's really translating precautionary principle into practice is a big question. Given also the fact that from our experience, politicized din yung EIA process. Even yung panel, di ba? Maraming issues po But then again, we're pushing for a bill that will somehow improve on what we have. Thank you, Ma'am Miles.
Okay. Sige, there are some, I should go to the chat box kasi someone was talking about a mining in their area. Can you see that
Yeah, I think it's from Sir Randy Noblesa. Sabi niya sa Marinduque po may 2 dredging projects para sa rehabilitation ng mining pero lumalabas sa public consultation ng environmental impact assessment ay connected sa offshore mining at reclamation ang minerals at aggregates na makukuha sa mga ilog ng Buwak at Magpog. Sir Randy Noblesa, are you here? Para nabigyan ng konting context yung nabanggit niyo po sa chat.
Yes po, good afternoon. Palagay ko si Sir Bernie naka-attend pero ako din kahit nasa Marinduque ako hindi ako nakadalo doon sa April 18 tsaka April 25 na public consultation. Kaya medyo nabulaga din yung mga tao. So meron na schedule, nakapost naman sa EMB na website yan pero naka-attend naman yun ibang stakeholder pero ako personally hindi ako nakadalo.
Pero connected sa rehabilitation pero dredging. Yes, Sir Bernie, you're raising your hand.
Siguro po konting context lang din doon nga sa river dredging. Noong 2019 po kasi, naglabas ng Joint Memorandum Circular ang DOTR, DPWH, DNR regarding river dredging. At ang nakikita po namin dito, ito ay isang way ng mining pa din. Kasi ang kinukuha po nila ay hindi totoong river dredging, pero ang kinukuha nila ay yung mga black sand mining po ito na nasa malapit sa coast, sa river delta po. So halimbawa, I'll use an example po yung sa Zambales, kung naalala nyo, nag-protest po yung mga tao kasi supposedly ang river dredging ay gagawin sa 3 major rivers ng Zambales na blocked by lahar. Ang problema, ang nakikita ng mga tao, yung mga barko nasa coastal po, nasa dagat. At ang kwento nila, may mga araw na 17 ships ang humahakot ng buhangin sa kanilang coast. At na-confirm din nila na ito ay to supply dredge fill material for reclamation projects sa Manila Bay. So, nangyari din po ito sa Cagayan noong mga around 2018-2019. Nangyari din ito sa Negros Oriental na itinatago nila sa river dredging projects yung black sand mining. So, yun din po yung isa natin kailangan bantayan. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Sir Bernie, for that insight. Any other questions? Yes, Ma'am Tessa?
Oo. Alam mo, na-mention din ni Bernie na talagang pag nagpalit ng presidente, nagpapalit din yung implementation ng mga laws. Paano ba natin ito ma-address?
Very good but difficult question.
Should we run to the Supreme Court? May magagawa ba ang Supreme Court dito para talagang stabilize ang ating mga laws?
Quickly, Ma'am Tessa, David, if I may respond quickly.
Attorney Jerty, go ahead.
I was talking about governance. No? And kasama din tayo doon. If our people, if our communities are fully aware of their rights and remedies, then we stand a good chance. But, during COVID, I saw even in Palawan how vulnerable our communities were after COVID. Kaya nakita ko yung severe division. And it's something that we need to take stock of. To what extent are we able to sustain community strength? Kasi their vulnerability, hindi lang access to information, pero yung poverty, di ba? Lahat yan, combination yan. So, yung tanong, anong remedy mo? We really, for me, never-ending pa rin yung community development, community organizing, strengthening. That should be something to be sustained. Kasi you cannot be complacent. It can change. And then you can complement that, of course, with what Green Convergence is doing now, the information dissemination, the advocacy work, and litigation. No option can stand or swim alone. Dapat kailangan talaga complementary. That's what I've seen. Like in Odyssey aside, when we push for the One Palawan campaign over the division of Palawan a few years ago, it was everything. We had to do everything. Campaigns, IEC, litigation, we lost. And then, we had to participate in a traditional electoral process for the first time in our lives. And we won. So, to me, yung ginagawa ng Green Convergence, lahat ng ATM, ng Marinduque, Oceanan, taga-Zambales dito, we have to sustain that. We have to sustain that. Madali man sabihin, pero we should not lose hope.
Yeah.
Meron tayong small successes.
Okay. May isang question pa ako. Kasi, can we look at our waste? What of our waste can we recycle? Para hindi na tayo masyadong kumuha sa things. Itong mga foil wrappers, pwede ba itong ma-recycle? Kasi pinadaman na. Meron ba?
It's a good question. Actually, sa Alternative Fuels Management Bill, Ma'am Tessa, nakalagay doon yung recycling ng mga steel bars or reusing ang term. Steel bars na tinatapon. Di ba marami yan eh. Rather than mining again iron and nickel to make steel bars. Di ba? So that's an example. Pero yung wrappers mo, hindi ko masagot. I'm not an expert on that. But there is a possibility na the less as Laudato Si, quoting Laudato Si now, because that's crystal clear to me, consumeristic ways, etc. I think there can be an area of work there na you lessen the demand for minerals. Mas lesser naman ang demand ng Pilipinas kaysa iba-ibang bansa. Pero tayo yung tayo yung losing end. Yeah. Thank you.
Siguro pahabol ko na question kasi I was researching, no. I stumbled upon on 2008, I think. This is regarding to environmental cases, no. Kung halimbawa may violation, saan natin pwedeng maghabla. So in 2008, I think the Supreme Court created
Yes.
117 green courts.
Yes.
Ano na po kaya nangyari dito sa mga green courts na ito? Has it
Okay.
been successful? Existing pa po ba?
Yes, thank you, David. They still exist. In fact, all courts now are handling environmental cases. Given the dimension, no? Ang dami-dami nating batas from ridge to reef, di ba? Including DRRM, Animal Welfare Act, Clean Air, Clean Water, marami na eh. Why do I say that all courts handle environmental cases? I just came from a Green Justice Zone meeting today with judges and prosecutors because there are laws that provide for small penalties. So ang jurisdiction niya, mahuhulog sa lower court, hindi sa regional trial court. I think a good development also, David, is in 2010, the Supreme Court passed the Rules of Procedure for environmental cases, which provided for citizen suit, strategic lawsuit against public participation, because we've had community partners who have been sued with cyber libel, grave threat, lahat yan, even a mayor, and modesty aside, their batting average is almost 100% using SLAP. So there are opportunities kasi yung lahat na nag-aantay-mining, bukod dun sa red tagging at nawawala, marami din kinakasuhan. Like yung sa Filminera sa Masbate, si Mary Lou Verano, she was sued with how many counts of cyber libel, and she was acquitted with the help of the alternative lawyers, no? Led by Tanggol Kalikasan. We were part of that effort. So there are opportunities in our rules. But yung building pa on the question of David as to whether there are really good decisions to stop the destruction of extractive activities, extractive projects in our forest, we still have a lot of work to do. O kailangan pa natin i-enrich yung jurisprudence natin. There are a few cases like environmental tort, combination of, pasensya, legalist na to combining environmental protection with tort. There are a few cases, public trust, but there are not many. We still need, I agree with you, we still need to enrich jurisprudence by litigating yung mga public interest cases. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Jerry. Kasi naisip ko lang, no, kung hindi ma-influensya na itong government agencies, I think isa sa paraan dalhin na sa court proceedings, 'di ba, itong mga violation na to. But unfortunately, minsan sa bansa natin, sabi nga, instead of justice, nagiging justice. Ayan.
Pero may panalo naman, David. I know that in our case in Palawan now, it's on appeal pending before the Supreme Court, pero 10 years. Wow. Nanalo kami against 4 mining companies. And then yung Marinduque, modesty aside, that was part of the legal pool. We also partially won in 2022, pero on appeal pa. So, talagang matirang malaban.
Matagal.
Matagal talaga. Yan ang problema sa judicial remedies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there more questions from our participants? Comments?
Mukhang wala ako nakikitang naka-raise ng hand. Any feedback?
May request for presentations, copy of the presentation.
Yes.
So take note, Anna, so we can give to Senro from Senro Kaluwag. Sige. Meron pa?
I think basahin ko lang yung very short comment ni Sir Bernie ng ATM. Circular economy. I think that is really the best way forward, no, para wala nang ma-minimize natin ang todo-todo yung waste. I think that is something that all of us in the environmental sector should work and look into.
Yeah, agree.
Right from the start. Yun talagang
yes.
Apat, no? All right.
And with that, makapaaga yata tayo. Okay. Let's do our closing remarks for today's Kamayan Forum. And again, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to fill out the feedback form. The link is on the chat box. And now, to give us our closing remarks for today's Kamayan Forum, let us introduce a member of the board. He is a politician, a journalist, activist, and advocate of indigenous people's rights and the rights of minority groups, the founder of Angat Kalikasan Pilipinas, and currently a trustee of Green Convergence. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Teddy Bagilat.
Hi David.
Good
Ito na
afternoon,
lang, nasa
Teddy.
labas ako.
Ano yun? Ano yun?
Naririnig naman ako. Loud and
Yes,
clear?
loud and clear.
Okay, okay. Sige, wow. Buti na lang naabutan ko yung last part of the discussion. Sina Jerty, sina Gwen, no, sa lahat ng mga bisita natin. Gandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Yeah, closing remarks. No? I guess ang tanong is, posible ba ang responsible mining? At ang aking sagot, kung ang ating iniisip, ang definition ng responsible mining is wala siyang environmental impact o maliit o minimal ang kanyang environmental impact sa biodiversity, no, sa ecological balance ng ating bansa, then ang masasabi ko, hindi posible. No, kababalaghan, kasinungalingan. And maybe siguro I'm not as objective as you want me to be, pero I'm an indigenous person and bilang dating isang kongresista na naging principal author ng Alternative Mineral Management Bill. No? Ang tagal na namin pinagalaban yan. No? 2 decades na nga eh, pero 9 years na tinulok namin sa Kongreso. Ang hirap talaga. But feeling namin, no, na andoon yung mga safeguards na pwede natin ilagay sa isang batas, no? Para siguraduhin na kung maaari sana minimal, yung masasabi mo, o mabawasan, no, yung ecological and environmental destruction na dulot ng mining. Kasi nung ako ay chairperson ng Committee on Indigenous Peoples, nagkaroon kami talaga ng report ng impact of mining on indigenous ancestral domains. Kasi karamihan naman ng ating biodiversity ay nasa kamay ng mga katatubo. At batay dun sa aming analysis, 1, mining leads to displacement of indigenous people. It leads to destruction of traditional livelihood. Tulad kina Jerty, no? Ito yung mga dahilan kung bakit tinututulan nila ang mining sa Brooks Point, sa Southern Palawan, kasi mawawala yung kanilang traditional livelihood. Mining also leads to bad governance, leads to corruption. Dahil pinagpipilitan, whether it's NCIP or DNR, maraming mga laws na hindi na nagagamit, no? O hindi na susunod, no? Because gusto talagang ipilit yung mining activity. And finally, mining leads to conflict. So yun yung report na inilabas namin para sabihin na ito yung impact sa mining in ancestral domains. On the other hand, we are one of the most mineralized countries in the world. Number 5 tayo sa buong mundo pagdating sa wealth ng ating minerals. No? Number 1 sa gold, yaka, no? Number 2 sa nickel. No? So, ibig sabihin, napakarami ating mineral resources. And so, therefore, ang lakas talaga ng pagsulong na ito ay i-develop, no? Para mabayaran daw yung utang natin, para maging first world country tayo. No? And especially now, no? This is an ongoing debate among environmental NGOs. No? Dahil nga nagtutulak tayo ng renewable energy and dahil sa climate change, no? Sa Action Klima Network, no? Sa mga climate change networks, ito yung isinutulog, renewable energy. At yun ang nagiging dahilan na kinakailangan palakasin natin yung mining because we need minerals for renewable energy. Yun yung ginagawang argument. Again, it's a big debate. Sa akin siguro, it really needs a balance. Really needs a balance. So, because even for us indigenous people, mining is part of our culture. No? But just make sure that we mine what we need. So doon sa Alternative Minerals Management Bill, no, ang panpala ng mga advocates, hindi naman kinakailangan lahat ng mineral dito sa Pilipinas ay kinakailangan sukayin. Kundi kung ano lang yung pangangailangan natin. So ganun kasi yung mga katatubo eh. Ganun din yung mga katatubo, no? Kung sila ay nagmimina para doon sa kanilang pangangailangan. No? Ay ang nangyayari sa atin, hindi naman tayo yung ating mining industry, hindi naman tayo nakikinabang because our mining industry is export-oriented. So ang naiiwan dito ay yung distraction pero yung nakikinabang ibang bansa. part of the alternative minerals management bill is to do processing of minerals here. At yung nabanggit ni Jordan rin kanina, no, yung recycling. But at the end of the day, bakit, sabi nga ni Dean Galang, bakit hanggang ngayon hindi pa rin napapasa yung batas na yun? Well, palating na yung election next year, 2025. You know, in certain localities, in some localities, mining is an issue. But all over the Philippines, dahil ito ay isang makalimuot na usapin, mining, climate change, grabe na ngayon, but environment has never been discussed as a very important electoral issue tuwing kampanya. So siguro yun na lang gusto kong iwan na thought, no? By naiiwan dito ng mga participants natin, no? Let us, kung gusto natin mapasa yung alternative mining bill, let us support mga legislators na meron silang environmental agenda, mga legislators na nagsusulong itong alternative minerals management bill, National Land Use Act, Forest Resources Bill, no? Yung pagbabago ng EIS system. No? These are environmental laws that have never even made it to the plenary in Congress, in the House of the Senate. So yun siguro. Sa atin talagang karoon tayo ng maganda nakalakaran tungkol sa pagmimina, then also let's support yung mga politicians natin, legislators who are pushing for it. Yun lang siguro. Maraming salamat at mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teddy, for that very strong words and closing remarks, no? Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng umattend today sa ating Kamayan Forum, Responsible Mining Possible. So sabi doon sa program, magbigay daw ako ng closing spiel before we end. And kagaya ni Teddy, I am trying to be as objective as possible, no? Pero summarizing what has been discussed today, I think the root cause of the government not really putting emphasis on the environment is all something to do with our economic way of thinking. Kasi in the current economy where GDP and GNP is the measure, environment, our natural resources and human resources are not given high value and high prioritization. So unless magkakaroon ng bago sigurong pagtingin doon sa economic measurement and provision, and even the development, makikita natin na patuloy yung pagkasira ng ating natural resources, nagbabaliwala sa mga protected areas. And in a time na may climate crisis, I think it's better that we put environment first. Sabi nga, kalikasan muna ang dapat unahin. Kasi anthropocentric masyado tayo eh. Hindi lang naman Pilipinas eh, buong mundo eh. We put nature first, that we, no, tayong mga tao, tayong Pilipino ay nasa loob, no, ng kalikasan. Na kung hindi natin poprotektahan ng environment at masisira ito, kahit anong adaptation or climate resilience yung ating gawin, walang mangyayari. We will be at a loss. Tayo ay maapektuhan, marami ang sabihin natin, masisira ang kabuhayan, magkakasakit, because nature is our life. And if we don't protect nature, we will lose our life, we will lose the next generation. And it's about time, I think, that we call on the government, no, together, na let's do what is right, no? Let's pass, siguro, tulungan natin ipasa yung rights of nature, ipasa natin alternative minerals management. Ang Pilipinas ay mayroon pang mahalagang biodiversity at wag nating hayaang masira pa ito dahil lang sa pera na hindi naman natin pwedeng kainin in the long run. Yan, maraming salamat po.
Okay, nako, maraming salamat. It has been a very productive session. Some improvements have been recommended, no? After listening to all the effects of climate of etong mining. So, sinabi nga, ipasa yung Alternative Minerals Management Bill, yung ating cost-benefit analysis na studies, ipasok din, the new EIA bill, at saka madami pa, no? So, sana we start doing something about this and umpisahan natin, ang sabi nga ni Teddy, sa election na darating. So, thank you to our speakers and to all those who participated in the open forum. Made the discussions very enriching. See you all again at the 408th session of Kamayan para sa Kalikasan. And this will be on June 21. So see you next month. Enjoy the rest of the day. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat. Have a great weekend and padayon kalikasan. Salamat po.
Thank you.
Adios. Congratulations.
Happy weekend.
Congratulations.
God bless everyone.
Bless.